Hi, my name's Danny, and I wanted to help people date their Strattons because at the moment there is a lot of confusion between a modern Stratton and genuine vintage. Genuine vintage is considered to be 20 years older or more. Strattons stopped being British made in 1997, and unfortunately there are a lot of brand new 21st century Strattons being passed off as vintage Strattons. All credit must go to a lady who is considered the Stratton expert, and she is a lady called Julia Edwards, and I learned to date Strattons from reading her invaluable book, The Stratton Key. So what I'd like to do now is show you the backs of Strattons, because this is how vintage Strattons are dated, so that you will know when you see a Stratton for sale if it's genuine vintage or not. And I'd like to add that the modern Strattons made in the 21st century, I believe, are usually sold in brown and white boxes, so hopefully this video will help people in their collecting of compacts. The first one I'd like to show you is a stratenoid, and these were considered to be very early Strattons. They're very small, as you can see, and this one is a typical stratenoid, and the reverse of it has a wavy pattern. Not all Strattons have this pattern, but they are similar to this. So that's the first one, a very early Stratton called a stratenoid. Strattons, vintage Strattons, were made for over 70 years. So they have lots of different designs, but often the backs make them very easy to tell. This one is quite an uncommon one. It's called a large flapjack, and from Julia Edwards' book I'm able to determine that this pattern, called the coarse spiral, is probably pre-war, and according to research, the coarse spiral was used by Stratton from the late 1930s. So if you see a Stratton with a back like that, you can be certain it's genuine vintage. This is a pontoon made in the 50s. It has a typical purse type clasp at the top, which is quite unusual, and its back is just horizontal lines. So we've got the horizontal lines there. Now the luxury range, really beautiful back. This is a lipstick empress, absolutely gorgeous, and its back has a design called the curled feathers. And this is also 1950s. Very beautiful. Often the curled feathers were also used on the luxury range of musical Strattons. And again, if you see that, you know it's a genuine vintage Stratton. Beautiful design. This is a queen. You're probably all familiar with this shape. It's similar to the queen convertible. The queen convertibles are very common. They were around, well, they were in production for around 40 years, but this is very rare. This is a queen, not a queen convertible, with a full inner lid, so it's quite different, much more luxurious. I know that these were only made in 1957 and 58. There you see on the back this typical Stratton pattern of all over stars with no writing. And this means when you see this on a Stratton, you can date it from mid-1950s to mid-1960s. So it's really helpful when you can see the backs if you're thinking of purchasing a Stratton. Slightly different back, all over stars, but with Stratton written in the middle of the design. This is considered to be mid-1960s to early 1970s. There you go. And then this is slightly more difficult to see, but we will include close-ups. This is 1970s to the late 1980s. It's quite a subtle design. There you go. And then this is definitely 1990s. It's a woven effect. That's how it's described, the woven effect. Unfortunately today, there are a lot of 1990 Strattons being advertised as 1950s. Although 1990 Strattons are still vintage, still considered vintage, people need to know exactly where they come from. So hopefully that's helped clear up a lot of confusion, and I'm very happy for people to send me questions about Stratton or other British compacts, and I will do whatever I can to help people to ensure that they do purchase genuine vintage Strattons, because they are wonderful compacts, and it's such a nice hobby. Thank you.